So I've just been having a fucking debate on YouTube with Master Neloth over Skyrim, and well, to say debate is I was actually challenging fucking his way of thinking when it came to the fucking topic of the civil fucking war in Skyrim on fucking Elder Scrolls. But it got me fucking thinking about the conflicts in the modern world between, well, sane people and Islam. And it's the case of the Thalmor. It's like my debate on my counter argument to Master Neloth's fucking observations on the Civil War and which races would be likely to side with the Empire over the Stormcloaks is what it was about. And his belief is that the Dunmer wouldn't side with the Empire, they'd side with the Stormcloaks if they were born in Morrowind, and anyone born outside of Morrowind would side with the Empire. I highly disagree with that, because the Dunmer are the unique race of elves. They have always gotten along better with humans than they have their own kind, especially the High Elves. The High Elves look down on the fucking Dunmer as being beneath them and corrupt, and, well, there's no worse slight to Dunmer fucking pride than being called beneath someone. So, challenged Master Neloth's way of thinking to say this slight is exactly why they'd side with the Empire, just to give a middle finger to the fucking Aldmeri Dominion. They wouldn't want to see Skyrim succeed from the Empire by siding with the Stormcloaks, because they'd want the Empire to stay as whole as possible so that they could tell the Thalmor to go fuck themselves. Say, the similarities with the modern fucking world between Islam versus the rest of the world. Islam are basically the fucking Thalmor with the fucking superiority fucking complex of Islam will enter every single home across the fucking entire Western civilization. It's like, will it? Says who? The Thalmor's attitude of, like, because one of the fucking things that Master Neloth was going on about is the way they fucking treated the fucking Bosma, and that the Bosma would be a 50-50 as to whether or not they'd side with the Stormcloaks or the fucking Empire. Due to the fucking way that fucking the Thalmor treat their kind, having been going across the entire of Valenwood, systematically eradicating families that pose a threat to their domain. And it's like, well, that's what Islam would do. Go fucking around systematically committing genocide on anyone who dares oppose them. Making it so you'd have no fucking choice but to act like the Thalmor. Act like fucking Islam and systematically commit genocide on fucking Islam. Why? Because it's superiority complex versus sheer necessity. You know full fucking well that you would never be able to fucking raise a child who has been raised to believe in Islam to ever be anything other than an Islamist. For those strong-willed are fucking enough to tell them to go and fuck themselves anyway. You can't save a slave. You can only save the criminal, because the criminal doesn't believe in the dictator. The slave does. That's why it's a slave. may have been forced to do it, but it sees becoming the master as more appealing to opposing the master. That's why it's a slave. So all freeing a slave will ever do, well, is create the rise of another dictatorship, because that's all the slave has ever known and all the slave is ever willing to know, because it was raised to agree with the dictator, seeing it more preferable than opposing it. So even out of chains, it's got the gimme, 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 gimme attitude. I can't do this because I'm a slave. I'm a victim. So it will use passive-aggressive ways of dictating how you treat it. It'll always be a dictator. And what Islam fucking does is, well, force you to make the choice of supremacist versus necessary. Which one are you going to commit genocide in the name of? Because either fucking way, Islam will just keep fucking, spawning slaves to recreate itself over and over again unless you commit genocide. It'll leave you no choice because it doesn't want to fucking exist equally to the rest of humanity. Unlike fucking, other religions where it had the chance many times to commit genocide. It always backed out in the end. Christianity went around committing atrocities all across the fucking world, it's true. But it didn't succeed in committing genocide because every time it got to the fucking point where it had the chance to, it backed out. I can't do this. This is wrong. That's why everybody that fucking believed in the it's necessary always turned its back on fucking people like Christianity, because it's like, you want to be the saviour of the fucking world, but you're not willing to acknowledge that they're going to leave you no choice but to do this. That's why fucking so many turned away from it in the fucking end, because it didn't give them the fucking right to stand up for themselves. And it wasn't willing to wake up to the reality that Islam would never stop unless you made it, and you can't make it because it's a genocidal fucking psychopath and will listen to nothing other than that. And even if you try to forgive it when it's on the bones of its ass, it'll just use the opportunity to rebuild. That's why so many turned their backs on Christianity and started, well, telling Islam, fuck off and die. It's well, superiority versus necessary. And that's fucking why World War III is going to be so fucking devastating. Because it's superiority versus necessary. And after centuries of trying to forgive it, trying to live together with it, we've seen it's not possible. And as a result of their disgusting parasitical spread across the fucking world, infect everybody and control everybody, we'll enter all your fucking homes, blah 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 attitude that everyone's going to be at the end, fucking by the time World War III comes around, will be, you have to die. It's necessary because you just don't take no for an answer. And we've given you every single chance to take no for an answer. You've had centuries to change and you don't. So you're gonna have the fucking desperate fucking rebels that, like Iran, that'll be rising fucking up against it, turning around and going, We know what these people are like. You can't forgive them. They'll make you regret it. The Jews as well saying the same thing. You can't fucking forgive them. They'll make you regret it. And then the fucking desperation of Western civilization going, we are who we are, fuck you, bitch. And you'll have all these different fucking factions fighting for fucking survival that will be, well, red rag to a fucking bull. And Islam will be wiped out. It's superiority complex versus necessity. Islam's going to fucking regret the fucking day that they thought that they'd be the fucking one empire destined to rule them all.